It's fitting. I've started the women's ice hockey question, so I'm a beat reporter. Volleyball question, I'm a beat reporter
too. That is how they design it, yeah.
What creates offense?
Defense.
What creates defense?
Offense.
No, the goalie in the back of the net.
So you're crazy. I like you, but you're crazy because...
At least if you're going to pick a trap game, pick the right ones.
Little fast footwork. I know your feet don't move that fast.
Brady, that's all flash, no cash. She didn't net it in the back of the net. That's not even a goal.
What are you doing pulling out Ryan?
Brady.
Are you ready for some debate? This Bobcat Breakdown starts right now.
Welcome to Studio 125 for another episode of Bobcat Breakdown. I'm your host, Emily Katz, and alongside me are my analysts, Seb Lopes and Thomas Curtis. I may not be the sports expert, but I'm excited to be joining you both on desk tonight. And who knows, I might even pick up some sports knowledge along the way. Are you both ready for some debate tonight?
I'm ready to go. Soccer playoffs are rolling around. Let's go.
I can't wait. It's a great time of year.
All right, sounds exciting. Men's soccer will play their last game of conference play tomorrow at 7 p.m. versus Merrimack. They have to win this game in order to clinch a playoff spot. They have won 3 of their last 5 games. Who do you guys think is responsible for their team's turnaround towards the end of their season? Seb, as the men's soccer beat reporter, start us off.
Yeah, it really comes down to Sievert Rizdalsnes and Drew Seguro. Those two are the catalyst to why this Bobcat team has picked it up, and they're in a position to be able to make the MAC playoffs. Just a couple games ago, maybe 3 or 4 games ago, they were clinging on for dear life, and they were hanging on by the smallest thread. Now they're in a playoff hunt position, and it's their own destiny tomorrow. It's win and in. Sievert's been the backbone to this team with everything. He plays in the midfield, but he starts all of their offense. Everything goes through him. The ball moves into the midfield where he picks it up, and he distributes it into the lanes that open up for passing, and then he creates that offensive attack. He's not scared to put his nose up front and put shots on goal. In the game against Fairfield on the road just a week ago, he had 3 shots on goal already within 30 minutes of play, and they were all grade A opportunities. With Drew Segura, on the other hand, he's been a key piece to this Bobcat squad because of the positional versatility that he brings. He can play in that fullback role. He can play in the midfield. He can play on the wing on the attack. He brings everything to the Bobcat squad. It doesn't show up on the score sheet, but that as watching him game by game, you see.
They've been great, and the turnaround has been nice on offense with Rizdalsnes scoring some goals, but the goalkeeping and defense has been significantly improved. Through September 20th, when they were 1-5-1, they were giving up 3.14 goals per game. That's pi for those of you who don't know. But since then, they're 5-4, only allowing 1 goal per game. Their offense is scoring at just about the same rate, but they're keeping the ball out of the net and in front of the net with the rotation of goalies and steady defense from Sixten Carlson and Finn Ost on the outside. Carlson's held his own against top MAC players, Manhattan's William Fagerberg and Sienna's Lucas Almeida, where he played all 90 minutes on 2 top scorers in the MAC. And Ost has been impressive as a sophomore, stopping counterattacks and opponent set pieces. I just think the defense has really improved in this turnaround. When you look at the question, who's most to give credit, it's been the defense that's really stepped it up.
I'm not going to discredit you because Joel Pinto and Finn Ost have been key in that back line, in that center back role, and they also have Luke Scheirenbach, who's a really good third piece to fall back on. The reason I won't agree with the goalkeeping is because Eric DaCosta can't seem to find the faith to go to a steady goalkeeper. He played Emilio Balderrama to start the season, and then he was between Pisani and Cardona, and he wasn't sure who to start. Recently, it's been more consistent as Pisani has been getting that starter's role more consistently now, but because of that inconsistency, I can't really credit it to the goalkeeping, while you see Sievert and Drew constantly playing game after game and starting.
You answered your own question there. You said it's not consistent, but Pisani has consistently in the last couple of games been that thing, so that's why I'm going goalkeeping and defense.
All right. Thank you. And the women's soccer team has been led by Morgan Cupo, who has 11 goals on the season, but other than her standout performance throughout the year, heading into playoffs, who do you guys think will be the X factor for the women's soccer team? Thomas, give us your pick.
I'm going to sophomore Olivia Jarvis in net. She's only allowed 6 goals in her last 10 games. She's really come into a role in goal. It was kind of between her and Gwen Hoyt. But when she took over the goalkeeping duties, she's been more steady. And when they play Canisius this week on Thursday, Canisius only scores 1.4 goals per game. They're the middle of the MAC. They're completely middle of the pack. They're 6th or 7th in all scoring categories when you look at the stats. And if Jarvis plays like she has in October, we're going to see a shutout in the semifinals. I'm going to be the one that takes the team that doesn't give up any goals, because you can't win when you don't score any goals, Seb.
You seem to like a lot of defense so far. So
I'm a defensive guy.
I think you're going to like this one because my X factor is Madison Alves. She's one of the key center backs to this Bobcat squad. She's played the third most minutes through 12 games for the Bobcats. She's been named to the All-MAC first team in 2025 and the All-MAC second team in 2024. And she already has 5 points on the season despite being a center back. 18 shots as well and 5 shots on goal. She's a key reason to why they're able to keep clean sheets. The Bobcats have kept 5 clean sheets this season, and they've only allowed more than one goal once in a 2-2 draw with Niagara. And over Alves' time as a Bobcat, she's been involved in 31 clean sheets, all right? 24 of them she started. And one of the quotes that sticks with me forever comes from the greatest soccer manager ever, Sir Alex Ferguson. Had so much time with Manchester United, and he once said a quote that goes this: "Attack wins you games, defense wins you titles." That's what the Bobcats have with their squad.
Yeah, we can agree. The X factor on a terminology standpoint is defense. We just pick different players.
Exactly.
All right, now thank you both for your great insights on that, but it's time for our first break of the night. When we return, our analysts will be giving us their top 3 plays across Quinnipiac sports from the fall seasons. We'll be right back.
Reporting from the Grove for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Miller Library for Q30 News.
Reporting from the Mount Carmel campus for Q30 News.
Reporting on Whitney Ave for Q30 News.
Every day, thousands of kids start vaping. And I can't let this happen to my kid. So if you want to talk to your kids, you have to get it trending.
No, you're doing it wrong.
Let's go.
Can we talk?
Yeah, what's up?
Visit talkaboutVaping.org for tips on when and how to have the vape talk.
No, I'm not gambling.
Live from the Piazza, it's Quinnipiac Tonight!
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. With fall sports seasons coming to a close, we're going to have Seb and Thomas handing out their bronze, silver, and gold awards to their top 3 players across Quinnipiac's fall sports this year. All right, Thomas, start us off. Which player are you giving your bronze medal to?
To start, we're going to go a little past Hogan Parking Lot. We're going to go to the field hockey field. It's Francisca Escoyas. In my 2 years as a field hockey beat reporter, this was one of the coolest plays I've seen. It was her 10th goal in the season. They picked up a Big East win over Villanova and won their 4th straight game. It was a great win streak, and Escoyas from almost 3-point range launches one top shelf above the goalie's shoulder. I mean, I almost wanted to get up and clap as a beat reporter. Said it was just such an impressive goal. I was celebrating with the staff, which you're not supposed to do, but how could you not when you see this kind of goal?
That's a pretty sick goal right there. I can't say anything else.
Who's your 3?
My 3rd goal is a tic-tac goal versus Yale from the men's soccer team. We head down Whitney Ave to Yale. Saputo Jr., it was his first goal of the season. It gave Quinnipiac a 2-1 lead, and it snapped the 3-game losing streak, one that was hanging over the Bobcats and that they really didn't want to keep going. Just let's watch this one. Pass inside, Seaver picks it up, goes to the back post, right place, right time as Joey Saputo Jr. They brought him in just for that. They brought him in to score goals for this Bobcat squad. He hasn't quite done it, but moments like that make Eric DaCosta very, very happy.
It's just great timing from the soccer team. For my second play, we're going to men's soccer. It's Alex Miller versus Siena. His first goal of the season, he battled a couple injuries. And to get back and score this goal against Siena, one of the top teams in the conference. The Bobcats picked up their 3rd MAC win. He's going to get the ball at the top of the box, his left foot to his right, and then one-timer. The goalie, fully extension, couldn't find it. And I mean, look at that celebration.
This is the best part.
That's some of the best.
The goal's unreal. That celebration is unreal too.
That's almost why it's 2 for me.
We might see that one a little bit later on as well. But for my second goal, it goes to Clara Bankston of the women's soccer squad. She went bar down versus the Mount. But for a little backstory, it was her first goal of the season in the game against Mount St. Mary's. She had 4 points, and it was the 3rd different scorer for the team at the time. So let's watch it right here as she picks it up at the 18, and Clara Banger is what you can nickname her of that one, going bar down into the back of the net. A beautiful finish. Just, you can't say anything else.
You can't draw it up better than that.
You really can't.
Another good angle.
Curler, too. It wasn't just straight on, it was a curler.
Yeah, and we'll move to my number 1. We're going to stay with women's soccer. Corey Anderson, her first career goal. How about it comes against one of the top team in the MAC Seb. As time expired, really a great goal and one that put Quinnipiac's season on the map when you beat a team like Fairfield. A whiff and then a little bit of a truck there, but it gets to the back of the net, and a goal for Quinnipiac as time expires. Just such a big goal for the Bobcats as Fairfield's a tough opponent and they needed that goal as time expired.
That's just some never giving in mentality. You just see the bodies flying into the 6-yard box as they try to put that one into the back of the net. For my first goal, I said we might see it again. It is Alex Miller's men's soccer goal against Siena. Let's replay that one more time. And it was a huge goal for Miller. He had gone through a whole bunch of setbacks, injuries. So to be back on the field and score that goal, it felt huge. DaCosta even said in the post game that he's never been happier for a player. Let's just watch it one more time. Little box touch, left foot to right foot, and post and in as Miller scores the only goal that kept the Bobcat season alive, and they wouldn't be in the position where they're going into tomorrow on the road in North Andover, Massachusetts, if it wasn't for that goal.
You see that goal 4 times, it almost isn't enough. We should have maybe had it twice on somebody's list. It was just such a great goal, so.
Insane.
Well, I have a question for you both. Who do you think is more likely to win the MAC championship? Women's or men's?
You're the men's soccer beat reporter. What do you think?
I think it has to be the women's soccer team. They're definitely more likely to win the MAC championship. They've just been better established overall as the season has progressed. They haven't had the inconsistency issues that the men's soccer team has had, and they also didn't have as slow of a start as the men's soccer team has had.
I also like the competition that they faced early. Dave Clark puts an emphasis on playing out-of-conference teams that are really great, and then they get into MAC play, and when you tie a team like Fairfield, you have a good shot in the tournament. They've got to be Canisius Thursday, but I'd give them a better shot of the men's team.
I mean, you make a great point. Playing top elite teams like Syracuse and like the teams that they have played in their preseason matchups is huge. And then when you look at the men's side, they're still playing some D2 opponents.
And they're struggling.
And it's struggling against those D2 opponents occasionally. So it just kind of raises questions, but that's why I would say women's soccer.
So then are we looking for a playoff win from this team?
From the men's team?
From men's soccer.
Yeah, I think the men's team could compete. You beat Siena. That's like they said, they thought that was the top team in the conference. I think they could squeak one out. It would have to be a 1-0 game like the one against Siena, but it's definitely possible. I would give it to them. If someone told me they won a playoff game, I wouldn't completely discredit them.
It wouldn't be a surprise. No, I definitely think that they could go and win a playoff game. It's just a matter of fact of getting into the playoffs to start. And
Absolutely.
Merrimack has nothing to play for anymore. They got eliminated. So all that they want to play for is just kind of to spoil someone's team. So they're probably going to be a big test for the Bobcats, despite their record saying something otherwise.
So then, what are we looking for? Women's soccer championship or men's playoff win?
I mean, women's soccer took down Fairfield, right? That was the matchup in the championship last season. They already did it once. Maybe they can do it twice.
Yeah, that was a tie to Fairfield, and I think I said a win earlier too. But let's go ahead and say the women's team's going to win it over the men's team winning a playoff game, just because they're more established. They have that pedigree, and I really don't doubt Dave Clark.
Dave Clark just finds a way.
He does.
Some really great insights. Well, Those were some great plays that you guys talked about, but we do have another quick break on the desk. When we come back, QBSN is here to recap the men's basketball game versus St. John's, and our analysts will be talking about how women's hockey has done in the ECAC. Stick with us. Bobcat Breakdown, we'll be right back.
Even the mighty might not see it coming. It's prediabetes, and it captures 1 in 3 adults. But you can escape. Take the 1-minute prediabetes risk test to know where you stand and prevent or delay type 2 diabetes. Be your own hero on smartphones everywhere at doihaveprediabetes.org.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies. Because when people are fed, futures are nourished. Everyone deserves to live a full life. And with your help, together we can end hunger. Join the movement at feedingamerica.org/actnow.
Welcome back to Bobcat Breakdown. If you are just joining us, I'm Emily Katz. Alongside me is Seb Lopes and Thomas Curtis. The men's basketball team played their first game of the season on Monday, and QBSN is here to highlight the action.
College basketball is back. Quinnipiac opening its season against St. John's. It's been a long wait for the Bobcats. 4 from the floor in that time. McKnight spin move, baseline pull up off the glass. That's a beauty. That looked like Dirk. That's good. Tino and Quinnipiac can't get the ball in cleanly. Monroe deflected to McKnight, and McKnight up at the rim. It's a poster. There's the best player in the MAC, though. Supposedly Monroe takes it away, gives off to Grant Randall, and Randall slams that home, takes a hard fall afterwards, but the Bobcats 4 straight points. Quick timeout by the perimeter. Gives off left wing, Darling. Darling, dribble drive, defended by Jones. Kicks out, he's stopped on the baseline. Ejiofor, spin move, working on Randall. Low block on the left side, blocked away by Randall. Rebound Bobcats. Quinnipiac's gonna run. The outlet pass to McKnight at the rim is up, and it's good. Keith McKnight, Brittany, he is the best player on the floor for Quinnipiac right now, no doubt about it. Back out, Monroe, wide open right wing 3, and that's good. Amari Monroe knocks down the Bobcats' second triple of the evening. Kicks out, Zimmerman, now Jones. Jones pump fakes, wide open 3 on the left wing, and a Sim Jones rims in and out, offensive rebound away, and that will be no good. Point blank opportunity for the Bobcats at the rim. Another offensive rebound for Quinnipiac. Zimmerman right wing 3, and Brittany 3's greater than 2, and the Bobcats, they figured it out there. Drives inside on Ejiofor. That's probably not the matchup you want, but McKnight does what he can and finds it to the bottom of the net.
The men's basketball team lost their season opener against St. John's yesterday, 108-74, and the women's team won their season opener against Boston University, 65-55. Which of these games would you guys consider more impactful to the teams? Thomas, which games were you thinking?
I'm going to go ahead and say I'm a men's basketball beat reporter, so don't call me biased like Beckett did the last time I was here, but the men's game versus St. John's is more important. I think it's a great measuring stick versus a top 5 team in the country. They're vying for a number 1 team in the national tournament come March. And you saw a couple of encouraging things. The most encouraging thing was your leading scorer, a freshman, Keith McKnight. He was 7-11 from the field. He was great in transition, and I thought he was awesome on the ball. I thought he created well in the paint, and I was just pleasantly surprised by Keith McKnight. They got out-rebounded, and that's all everyone wants to talk about, but Zuby Ejiofor is the Big East preseason player of the year. You can't be worried about that. The same thing happened last season when they went to St. John's, and they did figure out the rebounding. So I'm going to say the men's team because when you look at the opponent that the women's team faced, it was Boston University in the Patriot League. That's a team they should beat by 10, especially on the road. So they went and did their job, but the more important game last night was when the men's team played St. John's.
Let me ask you a question. Did you ever play sports?
Yes.
When you started off your season, were you upset after a loss?
Yeah, you absolutely can be.
Were you happier after a win?
Yes.
So why wouldn't the women's basketball win be more important than the men's basketball loss, where they frankly got blown out on the score sheet? women's basketball had a great game. Jackie Grisdale picked up where she left off, going 7 for 14 for 50% shooting and 17 points. Carson Martin, Sydney Ryan, and Anna Foley, they all reached double digits. Anna Foley had herself an absolute day. 10 points, 7 rebounds, 3 assists, 2 steals, and 2 blocks. She was everywhere on that score sheet. The team went 10 for 10 from the free-throw line. That's really impressive. They out-rebounded BU 37-29 with 12 offensive rebounds. And just, frankly, they started off where they left off. They left off in a good spot despite losing a game. They were still a very, very good team, and they showed it again yesterday with the win.
I just don't think that's a game that I expected the women's team to go and win. 10 points was pretty much where I thought they'd be. When you talk about St. John's, like I said, top 5 team in the nation, when Quinnipiac comes back and plays a MAC opponent, imagine how much slower the game's going to be. Their guards, Sim Jones, Jaden Zimmerman, and others, Amari Monroe even, struggled with turnovers just because that defense is so much faster than what they're going to see in the MAC. But if you get that look this early, then they go and play CCSU Thursday. That defense is not going to be as great as St. John's, and I think they're going to be so much better prepared. Like we talked about in soccer, they're going to be so much better prepared when they play CCSU and Yale. Yale's another team that competes on the national level, but they're not as great as St. John's, and so you've seen a look, and you go in with just a little bit more confidence.
I just would kind of have expected the men's basketball team to make it a closer game than they did.
Really? St. John's, in my opinion, is at worst a 2 seed come March. They have Ian Jackson's great. Like I said, Ejiofor, the Big East Player of the Year. I just thought I was more impressed with some of the stuff that they did over the women's team.
And now, heading to the ice, the Quinnipiac's women's ice hockey team was tied for 4th in the ECAC women's hockey preseason poll. They are currently 11-1 overall and 3-1 in conference, which ties them for 2nd in the conference standings with Princeton. Would you guys consider Quinnipiac to be the ECAC favorite? Seb, tell us your pick.
Absolutely. This women's hockey team is a wagon. And it is not a fluke to start a season 11-1. The one loss is one to forget. Just put it in your back pocket and move on. It was an unlucky loss. They gave up a power play goal with under 10 minutes to go, but they still put over 30 shots on net and just couldn't seem to find the back of the net. Just puck luck wasn't there that day. And then they had the most impressive bounce back weekend that you can possibly have. They beat Union and RPI in convincing fashion 6-1 and 8-0. They have 8 players with 5+ points already, and when you're watching this team, it looks like they're playing pond hockey at times. That's how much control they have over the opponents that they're playing.
I like talking about favorites in November when this is such a long season. I think
there's so far to go, yeah.
I have Cornell as my favorite. They're 7-0. They haven't played a competitive game. They're winning by 3.5 goals per game. They've got 2 ranked wins against 14 Yale and number 15 Brown. They have 2 players, Nora Curtis and Lindsay Avar, who have 9 points apiece, and then 8 other players have 5+ points for Cornell. So they're spreading the puck around, and they're getting good goalie play from Anais Bergman, who has 4 shutouts and a .972 save percentage. She's been good on defense. I'm just going to take Cornell right now as the favorite because they've been so dominant.
I said it on the call. I was on the call for QBSN on Friday, and it feels like the team is playing on a power play for minutes at a time, and they're playing 5-on-5 hockey. That's just how they're dominating teams with the puck possession, with finding passing lanes, with moving the puck to the net. And let's be honest, Kaylin Lamar, she is not a human being right now. She already has 17 goals on the season and 8 assists. She had a 7-goal and 1-assist weekend 2 weekends ago. That is just, hat tricks are hard to come by. She's had 3 already on the season. I don't know how that's happening.
It's hard to come up with a counterpoint to that when they haven't played. I'd like to see what Bergman and the Cornell defense looks like against LaMarche in that offense, but we've yet to see it. So it's hard to call a favorite right now.
Well, thank you guys so much for your insight. Unfortunately, that is all the time for debate we have tonight. We have to take our last break here on desk, but stay tuned. We'll have our final words when we come back.
Everyone has a ritual, that small thing we do to keep us focused.
But what do you do to keep your head in the game?
To drown out the self-doubt and support your mental health.
Because being your best isn't just about taking care of your body.
It's about taking care of your mind and mental health.
Find the resources you need to keep your mental health a priority. Love your mind.
Have you ever helped a fellow veteran?
Of course.
Yes. Have you ever asked for help yourself?
It's always tough, right?
I always feel like I can solve my own problems, but eventually, you just can't deal with it on your own.
And you start to question, maybe people would be better off without me. When you realize that you're not alone, once you take that first step, there's so much support.
You've done the hard part. You quit smoking. Now do the easy part and get scanned for lung cancer. If you smoked, you may still be at risk, but early detection could save your life. Talk to your doctor and learn more at savedbythescan.org.
Welcome back into Studio 125. It's time for our final words. I'll start us off. I want to remind everyone to make time for joy in what you do. With tight deadlines and constant projects and communications, it can feel like you sometimes don't have much control over your work. But I encourage you to pause and remember why you started in the first place. In communications, people don't always see it as a serious field, and honestly, there were times I even questioned that myself. That's why it's so important to reconnect with your passion and make time to enjoy it on your own terms. Love for your work starts with you. Join a club, start a personal project, put your own spin on an assignment, learn a new skill just for fun. Even small actions like these keep your passion alive. Celebrate the victories, laugh at the mistakes, and make the most out of new challenges and different experiences. And that mindset isn't just true for us. Take soccer, for example. Players often switch positions throughout their careers, learning new roles and adapting to the team's needs. But throughout that change, their love for the game is what keeps them going. Just like them, we can find new ways to grow, stay creative, and keep that passion alive no matter our path.
Everyone likes to look at the stat sheets from games, and that's how they pick their favorite players. But when you truly watch a team consistently game after game, it's hard not to love the players who aren't as flashy. Drew Seguro is one of those guys. His story is a true rags to riches type story. As a first year, he didn't see the field, and in his sophomore year, he played sparingly as the team won the MAC championship. He could have left for more playing time elsewhere, as the transfer portal made it easier than ever to find opportunities elsewhere. But Seguro never quit on the Bobcats. He put his head down and continued showing up, showing his work ethic to head coach Eric DaCosta. Seguro still wasn't playing as much his junior year in 2023, but his character and work ethic showed as he earned himself accolades in the classroom, being named to the MAC men's soccer all-academic team. This was the turning point for Seguro and his time in Hampton, as all the hard work he put in was finally starting to pay off. When his senior year rolled around last season, Seguro played in every contest for the Bobcats, starting in 10 of them and scoring a goal, as well as tallying 2 assists for 4 points. Seguro more than quadrupled his minutes played, all while still being a scholar in the classroom, getting named to the MAC men's soccer all-academic team for his second straight season. DaCosta's belief in Drew gave inspiration for Seguro to come back for his grad year, and well, let's just say, Drew's impact has been felt once again, with his positional versatility making him a mainstay in the starting 11. With 1 game to go, trying to spur his team into the MAC playoffs, what Drew has taught us all is the power of never giving up, putting your head down and working hard, and what a little bit of faith can do.
Where is everyone? When I came to Quinnipiac, I expected to have to fight tooth and nail to get into the student section at hockey games, since the team was a perennial national contender and the standard in their conference. But I was wrong. A majority of their contests are high-profile, hard-fought, and simply good entertainment, but they're missing something, a rowdy fan base around them. Why can't a top 5 team in the sport fill the bank? With no football on campus in the fall, this should be the team that sells out every game, but in recent years, fan turnout continues to leave something to be desired. And it's not just the men's ice hockey team. Women's ice hockey and men's basketball have 2 of the most talented players in their respected sports in Kaylin LaMarche and Amari Monroe. And women's basketball has had national success before, making it as far as the Sweet 16 in March Madness. With that, the message every weekend the Bobcats are in town for the rest of the season is the same. Get up and go to the games.
Well, that's all the time we have for Bobcat Breakdown this week. Thank you for tuning into another episode, and thank you to all the producers and everyone working hard behind the scenes. Stay up to date on Quinnipiac sports, and make sure to follow us on Instagram and X at Q30 Sports, and check out our website at Q30TV.com. For Seb Lopes and Thomas Curtis, I'm Emily Katz. Have a great night, Bobcats.